God, we're really getting into it. My dad was quite abusive. Not quite. Very abusive, narcissistic. I ended up being the mum instead of being the child. Oh, bit of a full circle moment. Everyone at the time was like, you cheated. I took the morphine, went down to the theatre, point blank refused to have the surgery. And why she then obviously turned to alcohol, because obviously it was her way of coping. And it's like at the time I was very angry at her for it. I got told not to do PE because there's a lot of running involved. Just really frustrated of like, how can you keep doing this to yourself? I've definitely stopped and realised the words that I say do matter to myself. It's like, she'd always find a way to make you laugh. Because I'll go down a rabbit hole with that and you get called a slag or a slut. I just kept getting these missed calls, and then I got a missed call from an unknown number and my heart just dropped. It was quiet, like the whole street was quiet. Like when I was at my skinniest, I was the most depressed.
Do you think the version of you sitting here today would exist if you hadn't have passed?
She grabs it, she rips it up in front of everyone. It's really mad when you say it like that, to be honest, Lucy.
I mean, not even in your 30s yet. You're like me.
Everyone tells you to feel your feelings, but do we all really know how to actually feel our feelings? I went into complete panic. My body went into complete shock. One thing that helped me overcome that was actually rewriting the story. Like, people call me delusional on a daily basis. Just go big. Literally go big, go home, go all in with it. Like, with whatever you do.
Hello and welcome to Becoming Lucy with me, Hannah.
And me, Lucy. So, have you ever felt like you're just not that girl? Not the sporty one, not the confident one, not the one who belongs. Because today's guest once believed that too.
And then at 21, she lost her mum.
And in that moment, everything she thought she was changed.
And today's conversation is about grief, identity, and what happens when life forces you to stop playing small.
Because sometimes it's not motivation that changes you, it's loss.
So before we get into this amazing story with Leah, our fantastic guest, we always like to get to know them a little bit. And I know that you and Lucy met in 2023, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
That's how we alluded, wasn't it? Back on the good old HYROX dance floor, wasn't it, Leah?
Oh, every single race, somehow me and Lucy got put together. Every race, every wave, wherever we were in the world, it was always me and Lucy. And it was like a running joke, but like a friendly thing every single time we raced together, because we was always in it together and we'd push each other, and it was just the good days, Lucy.
I know, back in the day, because I remember me and Leah spoke briefly on like Instagram, and then we kind of, I think it was obviously London, wasn't it, 2023, and we've seen each other obviously on the
course.
On the course. I've lost my lingo already. And then like I remember Leah just like doing a spin and waving at the same time. And then since then we did like obviously Manchester together, which was a very emotional race, wasn't it?
It was
for both
horrendous
of us.
as well.
Oh, it was the wobbles. And then literally we had like Hunter and Sandy, who Hannah will have no idea who they are, but they were pretty up in the elite 15, like doing a world record, and me and Leah
We're dying.
literally on the finish line. No idea this is going on around us.
Oblivious, completely oblivious to it all.
So I take
Just having a chat.
You were like, it was because it was a hard race. Is that what I'm saying? You were like crawling over the finish line. Is that what I'm picturing right now?
I got injured. Lucy just didn't have her best race of what she wanted, and we were both just basically drowning our sorrows in Red Bull and Actifit water.
Oh, bless you. Well, at least you blooming did it. Honestly, every time I talk to Lucy about HYROX, we've had like Becca on here before, and I just like, I'm in awe with like you guys doing that kind of fitness, you know? So yeah, well done. I would be drowning myself. I was doing a lot worse. Probably had a vodka.
It's definitely a way to bond, put it that way, isn't it, Leah? And how we, and then obviously we did a few events afterwards, just like fun ones as well, didn't we? We went up to Farmers somewhere or other. We had a day out there, didn't we?
Was it like Farmer Strong?
That was it. Yeah. So yeah, we've gone from there.
Amazing.
But like I say, talking of HYROX, obviously I'm definitely not a HYROX athlete anymore, but Leah is obviously a HYROX athlete. She's been a HYROX ambassador for many years now as well. You competed at world champion level and you've won
Wow.
your age group as well,
Mhm.
which is obviously a massive achievement. But your story didn't start there. That's where we're going to go today.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
we want to go back before the athlete, before obviously all the mindset change. Who was Leah as a little girl?
God, we're really getting into it.
We're going deep, Leah. We're going deep.
Do you know what? I love it. I love it. Do you know what? Like, I have done so much work mentally because that little girl, when I was younger, she just wasn't the most confident person at all. She grew up in a household where domestic abuse was a thing. Lived pretty much all my life with my nan and granddad. Mum was an alcoholic. Dad was quite abusive. Not quite. Very abusive, narcissistic towards my mum, and it just wasn't obviously a nice environment to grow up in. And I ended up being the mum instead of being the child, so I had to grow up from quite a young age to look after my sister and my brother. And then as I've now got older, I realised that I withdrew from friendships, relationships growing up. I was bullied through school, so that made me quite hesitant to trust people. And I remember vividly winning, and this is one of the reasons why I do HYROX. I was like, oh, bit of a full circle moment for this. Is I remember doing a sports day when I was like 7 or 8 years old. And I just remember like my mum and my granddad just shouting for me on the sidelines. And I can hear every single time I race, or like when I'm in a really big, thick of fit moment, I can just hear them in my head. And I remember just absolutely blitzing it off and winning it. And believe it or not, it was an actual obstacle course race. So pretty fitting with the HYROX situation. And I remember winning, and everyone at the time was like, you cheated. Like, as soon as I won, I was like,
Wow.
you was cheated. A girl tripped up. She should have won. Like, you did whatever. When the reality was, I was off like a rocket and this girl just tripped and fell over. That was not my fault. But kids sometimes have a very cruel way of making you feel shit when thingy. So that kind of led through me being a bit more of an introvert through sports and school, and I never really got involved with that side of thing because I was like, well, if I'm going to be successful, like I think from a young age that rooted a belief in me where it's like, if you're successful, people will pull you down if you're at the top. And that went with me through high school. I hated running through school. I was writing notes in PE to get out of PE. I remember getting an injury when I was younger from dancing. I actually stuck at dancing. I was a very big dancer, very much creative kind of gal growing up, because the typical sporty for me wasn't my sporty, and I didn't feel like I belonged in your typical sporting environment. And I went and picked up an injury from dancing, and it's actually not funny at the time because I definitely was quite bad. I wasted a lot of NHS time, but I was in and out of hospital with this knee injury. It was painful, it was bad. And it got to the point where it's like I was refusing like an MRI scan because I was claustrophobic as well. So I weren't going in the machine at 13 years old. And I got basically told that the reason how they can see what's going on with my knee was by doing a little, what's the thing with the camera? Where they put like, it's a mini-op kind of.
Like a keyhole.
Keyhole.
Thing.
It was like, we can do keyhole surgery with you, whatever. I was like, yeah, I'd rather have that. I'd rather be knocked out, asleep, not know what's going on and do that. So I went through the whole rigmarole, got an appointment, went in for my surgery. And the doctor at the time was like, I need to tell it, like at 13, telling me all like the side effects and the bad things that could go wrong with the surgery. And I've got to make the decision at 13 years old to do it. Took the morphine, went down to the theatre, point blank refused to have the surgery.
Just got high instead.
No, I was off my rocker in this what do they call where they put the gas mask on?
Well, the anaesthesia.
Yeah,
Anaesthesia room. I was
right,
in
yeah.
there, and my mum was going mad. She was like, Leah, just put it on, put the mask on, find out what's wrong with you, whatever, you'll be fine, you'll be back doing dancing, you'll be able to run properly, whatever, you'll be able to get involved with the sports, etc. No, point blank refused. So I'm not doing it. By the time I got back to the lift, I was out like a light from the morphine. So my mum was fuming. The hospital was fuming. I went back for like a follow-up appointment with it, and my knee's been fine ever since. My knee's been fine ever since.
Right, Leah.
Talk about mind over matter.
I
as
know,
well.
literally.
It's like, I will make this better. I'm never going
Literally
through that
that.
again.
I think you've just got a very strong mind. Right, let's pause there and circle back to
Yeah.
some of the things that you were originally saying about you as a little girl. So there's a few things that I was like pulling on there. So obviously, first of all, you know, must have been a horrendous time, like you said, growing up with a violent dad and an alcoholic mum. Obviously, you've mentioned your mum a couple of times throughout what you've just said, her being in the hospital with you, her cheering you on at sports day and things like that. So was that relationship, even though she was an alcoholic, I take it she was a functioning alcoholic, and obviously she dealt with your dad in the background, and you were obviously aware of that, and like you said, trying to be a parent to your brother and sister. But was your relationship with your mum strong? Like, describe it to us, because it sounds like you did have a nice relationship despite all that was going on.
Yeah, my mum she was more of a best friend than anything. Like, she would, if she could, she'd give a world, like, for everything. Like, Christmases, birthdays, everything, she'd give what she could do. But my mum, she had such a full heart in everything that she did. She was the most caring, kind, loving person that you ever could have been. And it was just such a shame to have to deal with that situation with my dad. And I wouldn't say she weren't strong enough. I think it's because she cared so much and she didn't want to upset people. That's why she probably put up with it for so much longer than what she should have, and why she then obviously turned to alcohol, because obviously it was her way of coping. And it's like, at the time I was very angry at her for it when she drank, because she was a whole different person when she did drink. But outside of the drinking, she was probably one of the best mums in the world. Like, I don't know a single person who's like that woman, but I'm very, very grateful that I have amazing women around me who have little glimpses of her that I work with, I'm friends with, I race with, like, who are family, that remind me of her every single day. And it's, like, she was an incredible person.
And that's so, like, amazing that you can pull that out of her despite obviously the alcoholism as well. You said it's because she was, you know, drove to drink basically by your dad. And you've mentioned your nan and granddad, that you basically lived with them. So were you sort of between houses? Did she sort of know when she was going to have a drink and she would protect you guys by taking you to your nan and granddad? Did you just walk there when it all got a bit too much? Like, describe that dynamic of how your nan and granddad sort of saved you guys.
Yeah, so when we were growing up, very fortunate that my nan and granddad literally only lived like 5 minutes up the road. When you live with someone who's an alcoholic, you become very aware of the signs that they've had a drink or they're about to have a drink. And that's when you remove yourself from the situation. As I did get older, though, from past the age of 16, 17, 18, I did start to live back at home even while my mum was drinking, purely because, like, I don't know, 16, 17-year-old girl living with a nan and granddad, going to college and thingy. Nothing wrong with my nan and granddad. I just had a bit of a issue at that time myself and was like, had enough, let me do my own thing. I'm this strong, independent woman. Probably shouldn't have done that, but I did it anyway.
Yeah. And you went back then to your mum's house. So was your dad still around at this time? Like, what was it? So when did he leave the family home?
So my mum and dad started the divorce process when we was 8, and that continued all the way up until we was like 16.
Wow.
It was a very long process. It wasn't like a nice obviously I don't think divorces are nice, but like it just
No,
wasn't a
but
very
yeah, it's
nice
long, isn't it?
divorce. It was very on and off.
Right.
That's
I was
what
going
I'll
to say, what
say.
was the reason for it? Just because they
Yeah.
kept getting back together, splitting up again? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how was it for you, your brother and sister then, kind of in that chaos? And obviously your nan and granddad with that sort of shining light every time. You know, how did it feel growing up with that? And were you sort of disappointed every time your dad came back into your lives? You know, explain that sort of feeling to us.
Yeah, I can't really speak for my sister and my brother as such, because I feel like because my brother is so much younger, we kind of protected him from
Yeah.
the feelings. I feel like Jess probably felt very similar to what I did, and it was frustrating. Just really frustrated of like, how can you keep doing this to yourself? Like, we all see it. Like, stop. It's like you're addicted to that, and then having that back and forth, and as like a child in that situation, it's something that you can't really do much about. Like,
Just escape
the
to your
dog.
nan and granddad's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally.
And it must be amazing that you had them as your safety net, because obviously not every child that goes through this has that. And I'm
No.
really pleased that you and your siblings had your nan and granddad, you know, to help and guide you and just run to, you know. And I'm sure that your mum was equally as pleased that she knew they were going to look after you when she was in, you know, the throes of her alcoholism. And like you said, outside of that, the most amazing mum, which is just like the Jekyll and Hyde situation of what alcohol can do to you. And she was masking this deep trauma with what was going on with your dad. And it sounds like whenever she was not drinking, like you said, she was just the most amazing mum. And you've got some lovely memories, I take it.
Yeah. And it's so funny as well. Such a funny person, like stupid funny, like very dark humour, kind of funny, silly, goofy. Like, she would act like a 10-year-old sometimes. Like, she was that childish at times, but it was all fun and games as well at the same time. So it's like she'd always find a way to make you laugh.
Oh. And can you tell us what your relationship was like with your dad? And do you still speak to him?
God. So my relationship with my dad has never been great. I'm very much, I like to think of myself as much like a witchy person. If I get a bad vibe off you, I'm staying the hell away from you. I had that with my dad from a very young age. I didn't really have the best relationship with him. And to be honest, I didn't speak to my dad from my mum's funeral, which was in August 2022, up until January this year. And it's not a relationship, it's just, if you want to speak to me about something, speak to me. But like, it's very much a formal thing. Like, it's not a relationship. The reason why I spoke to him was to get my Greek citizenship, because he was sorting something out over there and he needed us to all have citizenship. So I had to see him, speak to him, and that was it. And yeah, there's just no relationship, because for me, as a person and a woman who is very much triumphing women to be the best, most powerful, most strong, most confident version of themselves, I can't be associated with that.
Yeah.
No way.
And do you think, sort of, this is going back to that I don't belong type of belief that you had growing up, do you think it was influenced by your dad's domestic violence?
Potentially. And as I've got older, I've been kind of a bit more of like a rebellion of being like, well, I'll show you what a woman can fucking do.
Yeah.
Like, business, life, the whatever. I don't need a man. And it also has led into like, when me and Cal, my partner, who I've been with for like, I think it's 5 years now, it could be 6, I've lost count. But when I first got with him, because I'm so hyper independent, it was like I was just taking control of everything, but then getting frustrated with him because he weren't doing anything, but I was forcing him to not do stuff because I was doing it all anyway. Do you know what I mean? So it's like I've had to learn how to soften and know that it's safe to soften
Yeah.
in certain relationships, but then still being absolute badass when it comes to business and sport.
Yes, I just love that. I love the softening when you felt safe. That's such a great way of putting it, because you didn't have that safety net. You had your nan and granddad, but your typical
Yeah.
dynamic of a family. And I love how you've said that you potentially could have been influenced by your dad's behavior, but it's actually transformed you, and you're a badass, like you said. And obviously we've alluded to at the beginning about you not belonging, and that sports day again. Do you think that sports day when you were 7 years old and they told you cheated, do you think that then had an effect on how you felt like with sport? Because at school, like you said, you stayed away and you went down the dancing route. So how did you pick that back up again then, to kind of realize that it wasn't you cheating at 7 years old? You love sport, you love dancing. How did that shift?
Yeah, so like for GCSEs, I got told not to do PE because there's a lot of running involved. You don't like running, you're not going to enjoy it, whatever. So I didn't do it. I did drama instead. Anyway, that was kind of me trying to edge into sport again. But again, my teacher point blank told me, we're not going to accept you on the GCSE course because you don't like that.
Funny. I had a
It's
similar
mad, isn't
experience.
it?
Like, and how we listen to teachers. Like, again, I was told I couldn't run when I was younger. And again, I had these moments, especially training for HYROX, and you obviously, Leah, can relate when you're hitting like a 4-kilometer pace for the first time. Obviously not in a HYROX competition, but when you're doing like your kilometers, I'm not saying I was that good when I was doing my events, but I was like, I bet I'm fucking running a lot faster than they are right now.
Yeah.
These people who fucking told me this, I bet they're sat on their
Literally.
arse on the sofa and like deep in Lay's crisps. Not Lay's, but Walkers.
Lay's.
You know what I mean? That's what we're
And
Well,
the
you know,
crisps
you're
are
like-
available. I'm all about to say that.
Like, and, but you think like all these like just like one comment, and I remember getting called like Sonic the Hedgehog, but unbeknown to me, Sonic the Hedgehog's obviously fast, but I think they took it from the Hedgehogs. You know that one's like the ones for the like whatever you used to plug down
the road safety
ones.
ones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it was
yeah,
slow,
yeah.
and that kept in my head till I was 30. Like it's
Yeah.
funny, isn't it? Just those one daft little comments, and like you say, teachers like, don't take this, and you just listen to them. Where
Well-
now I feel like the Gen whatever they are, I'm a little
They're
bit
like,
more
no,
Gen
don't
Z.
care.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I think though, like that's what teachers, I think, have a lot of influence in your life, because they're meant to be these people that you can look up to and they guide you. And there's a lot of teachers that stick in people's minds for all those reasons, and they'll remember that teacher because they saved them or they helped them. But there are a lot of stories like this where you have a comment from a teacher that like stays in your head. And do you think it was for you, Leah, because of your knee injury? Do you think they were saying that to you because you had this knee injury, or because they just didn't think you were good enough?
I think Leah made up a knee injury.
The knee injury was sore, let me tell you. It was actually really sore.
Maybe it was like a subconscious like trauma from being told all these things, and it came out in the body. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't
No,
actually there, it was
no.
in the mind.
I'm 100% convinced it was. Like, I'm 100% convinced it was that. But anyway, that's another thing we can talk about. Because I'll go down a rabbit hole with that. But yeah, like I genuinely, because I was never picked first in PE, because I was always played down my abilities, always. And I'd say up until recently, I wouldn't say I've fully stopped, but I've definitely stopped and realised the words that I say do matter to myself, and the narratives that I do tell myself about myself and how in correlation to how I perform. And I think partially yes, because they didn't think I was good enough, but also yes, probably because of the knee as well. Like I think it was a two-way thing for sure.
Why did you play down your ability? Because of that race at 7 years old, or were you doing that even before? Like what was it that made you dumb down your ability? Was it a confidence thing? Was it a belonging thing? Like, can you pinpoint why?
So I've actually done some work on this over
I
the
was
last
about
few
to say,
days.
let the therapies come in for this.
Right then.
I've literally done some work on this in the last few days. And truth be told, I really do feel like it was a fear of being seen, because if you're being seen and you're at the top, people are going to want to pull you down. So if I bigged myself up, I'm going to get pulled down for that and say, well, you're actually not that good because this person's better than you, or this person should have done this person should have done that. I also think as well, like, it's a funny thing as girls as well, because when you're too confident, you get called a
Yeah.
slag or a slut or all of them nasty things, which have actually zero correlation at all to what you're doing, yet
Yeah.
you still get called that. Like, and it is, I don't hate all men, quite evidently, but certain men will say that. And I think we all know them certain types of men who will say that to you if you are too confident, because they find it intimidating.
Yeah. Yeah.
They find it intimidating.
And isn't it
So-
weird, like those terms like slut and slag, they cut deep. Like when you're 14, 15 years old, you don't want to be associated with that. But then you're getting the attention from a lad that it's always the lads that are kind of hot, but also dicks. That you're like, well, I don't want you to call me this, but you're paying me, you know, when you're that age, you're getting attention from the hot boy in school or whatever. But it does really hurt. And like you said, actually, it's the intimidation side of it. And if you've got a personality and if you want to stand up for yourself or whatever, then they will go at you like that. And actually, we've experienced it just in the last couple of days, haven't we, Luce? Like with an event.
God, yeah.
Yeah,
So I was
with-
like, have we? Oh, yeah.
Lucy.
Don't forget that man that called us a slut. No, we went to an event on Saturday and it was like an all-female event, and there was various sort of like well-being, self-care, you know, activities that we were doing.
It's again, it's like self-belief, like what you
yes.
can do, wasn't it?
Yeah, and the comments that were coming off the kind of the ladies that ran it were just horrendous, and we were sort of commenting as well, being like it was incredible,
So,
and
like mansplaining.
you know,
Because basically, they
yeah.
had a like, what's that? It's the iron rod that goes between cement. So we don't know. Anyway, it does bend easy, but it's not about that. It's about that you have to like put it at your throat here,
Yeah,
and walk
push.
into each other and push to hug. So it's breaking that barrier, breaking that fear of pushing forward, just the extra little bit to show if you push that little bit harder, how far you can get,
Yeah.
and obviously what you can achieve. There's so much obviously behind it, but these men were like, oh, it's so easy to bend. Like you're just like gaslighting each
Yeah,
other. And like all this
basically,
like,
yeah.
literally going at us like you're like, what is it, like scamming people because you think that you can like
What?
bend really
Yeah.
hard
And
wires. I was just
it was
like,
crazy,
what
and it was,
the
but it was
hell?
all men. It was all men that were saying this, like
Like
and they were like,
3,000 comments at
Yeah.
this point, just all men going
Stop.
wild. Yeah.
and it links into what you just said, Leah. It's that intimidation. So they're basically just wanting to dull the shine and not letting women say they can do this, they can achieve this, and collectively look how strong we are, and you know, we're really proud of ourselves for breaking through this barrier. And rather than supporting that, they're reverting back to their 13-year-old self, and basically it's their version of calling us a slag. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's literally ridiculous. And we're just like, but do you know what? When I started reading those comments, it did put me back for like half an hour. I was like, okay, I don't know how I feel about this, because this is just strangers that are just tagging me in this post, basically like slating me. And I was a bit like, I don't know how I feel about this. And then we started to talk about it in this sort of WhatsApp group. And I instantly felt better because I realised it's their problem, not ours. And I was like, yeah, they want a rise, they want a reaction. And by staying silent, we're not giving it to them. And we shouldn't give it to them because
No.
it's ridiculous. When you go onto their accounts, they're all private, 16 followers or whatever. Not that that matters, but you can just tell that they're just trying to humiliate people,
Yeah.
but actually behind the scenes they are intimidated, and they should support us, not try and bring us down, which is obviously what you're saying, that you didn't want to be brought down, so you dumbed down your abilities, and only now you started to shine fully, which is just crazy that was in you from a child.
Yeah, it's mad. It's mad what it actually does to you.
Yeah.
And I think it happens to more people than I think people realise. I don't think a lot of women are aware of it. I don't think a lot of men are actually aware of it either. Because I know a lot of, like, even men as well who aren't confident but won't even say anything because of this. It's not even toxic masculinity, but they'll just keep themselves to themselves and not go after the things that they want to because they're scared of being caught out for not being as good as what they think they are, or do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mm. And take us back then to obviously that moment where this started to shift for you personally then. I know your mum passed, was it 2021?
2022.
2022, sorry. It's not
It's
even
alright.
that long ago, is it? Do you know what I
Not
mean? It's still
really.
quite raw, isn't it? So in that moment, I mean, talk us through it. You've got a lot of grief going in, but something shifted for you, didn't it?
Yeah, like, to be honest with you, I don't think it really hit me up until 2023 properly, when my
Right.
mum, like, I don't think it registered that she'd gone.
Mm.
Because my sister found my mum, I got called. I don't do well with seeing dead things, whether it's a hamster, a guinea pig, or whatever. Like, I am not seeing my mum dead,
Oh,
like,
wow.
no way. So it was just like, I don't want to see it. I know a lot of people, it's quite healing and like being like, right, no, it's it, we're done. I can't do that. So I didn't. And obviously did the funeral. I was quite numb to it
Yeah.
all, to be honest with you. Like, I didn't know what was going on. I got called when I was midway through PT, and a client was like, got called off my sister's phone. I was like, what's she ringing me for here? Like, it's just
Yeah.
it should just be ringing, telling me that my mum's drunk and that she's going up to my nan's. Like, that's what she'll be telling me that she's doing. And I just kept getting these missed calls, and then I got a missed call from an unknown number, and my heart just dropped. So I was just like, I fucking know something's happened here.
Yeah.
Like, I absolutely know something's happened here. And anyway, I picked it up, and it was just this paramedic, and was like, it's whoever it is from Northwest Ambulance Service, whatever, please will you just come and just come to your mum's house. We'll explain everything when you're here. And I was just like, oh, has she fallen down the stairs again? Because that was a regular thing. She'd fall down the stairs multiple times. She's cracked her head open, broke a leg, the lot.
Wow.
And I was just like, it was just something like that. But then I rang my sister, and she didn't answer. And I was just like, right, something's up. Like, something's not right. Drove there, whatever. And ambulance was there. My nan was there. Like, everyone was just there. And I was just like, it was quiet. Like, the whole street was quiet. Like, literally like a ghost town. Like, something you'd see in a film. Like, it weren't real. And I think that's why it didn't register. Went in, told me that my mum passed away. And I didn't cry initially, because it was just like, this is like, do you know that initial shot? Like, just nothing was there. And everyone was sobbing. To be honest with you, I don't really remember much, because I was in that much of a shock. And then obviously time passed, did post-mortem, whatever. That takes so much time than what you realise, because when someone's died, all you want to do is just get them buried, get it done. Like, you don't want to be going through the whole rigmarole of it. So did that, got her buried, and I was just having a coffee with a client / friend at the time, and I'd been doing a bit of CrossFit before then, and like a lot of the guys in the CrossFit gym, they'd actually been to Las Vegas for HYROX World Championships that June before.
Yeah.
And I think he come like top 10 or something. Obviously, HYROX back then was not at the scale that it is right now, but they come like top 10, so it's like this massive thing. And
still a great achievement. Still
a massive achievement. And like, they was talking about it anyway. We'd been speaking to the guys at the CrossFit gym, whatever. They was like, oh, it's coming to Birmingham, we're gonna go and do it in Birmingham. Do you want to do it in Birmingham? I was like, oh no, it's not for me, that, like, whatever. And was at Saturday having this coffee with Meg, and we was just speaking, and she's just like, come on, let's just do it. Like, it'll give you something to just focus on, like, get you something to work towards. Because also as well, at the time in the gym, I'd kind of lost my love for training a bit as well, because funny thing happened when my mum died. Like, I stopped caring about the way I looked, because not in a bad way, but like, I weren't self-conscious anymore, because I was just like, there is so much more to life than worrying about how your body looks. Like, there is so much more to life than wanting to be the smallest version of yourself, wanting to shrink, wanting to be the leanest version of yourself. I was the most unhappy I've ever been when I was at my skinniest. I was the most depressed. I was the most anxious. I looked ill. I weren't strong at all. And like, it just wasn't my best version of me. And I kind of lost that. So I lost the training regime, whatever. And she was like, right, let's get something to focus on. Got something to focus on. And right there and then, we booked HYROX Manchester for the January, which was 2023. And yeah, we booked it there, and it's been
The rest
HYROX
is
ever
history.
since. It's been
Literally.
HYROX ever since.
And just going back to obviously that journey. So obviously you know, in school you were, you know, like I said, not shining, all the normal bits in school. Then you went on obviously to do the training. You just said that you were the skinniest version of yourself, but you were depressed. You were obviously being the personal trainer. You were in the gym. That was kind of your life up until your mum passed away. And was her drinking getting heavier? Is that kind of what the postmortem showed, that it was alcohol poisoning that killed her? And did she just pass away, or did what happened with the death? Was it just a natural cause with alcohol? Is that what
Yeah, so
happened?
it was just ultimately she'd basically just had, like, we always said that is the way that she would die because of how she was, which is funny really, because a few months ago she obviously had all the tests, because she was on, obviously, of course, she was on medication from like anxiety, depression and stuff.
Yeah.
You have to have your liver levels tested and everything like that. All of that came clear.
Wow.
So it was genuinely just too much to drink on that one day for a body to just pass through, and it just completely packed
Did she
in.
try and come off it a little bit that if she was clear, if that makes sense? And then kind of had too much. You know what I mean? Because
yeah, so she kept having like on, off, on, off.
Yeah.
And then obviously when you go cold turkey, because my mum, she wouldn't wean herself off it. She'd just stop, and that's
that's
not
a bigger
good.
shock on your body, isn't it?
Yeah. So it was almost like her organs were going into shock when she just kept stopping, and then she'd start again. And obviously, like you said, so it actually wasn't anything to do with like liver poisoning. It was just too much to drink that her body gave up that night, sort of thing. You said your sister was ringing, the paramedics spoke to you, you got there, you were in shock. And then this perspective shift, which it does take a traumatic situation sometimes to change your whole kind of outlook on life. And you said, you know, at your skinniest, you were the most depressed. And it was that moment that you just thought, fuck this, I don't care what I look like. There are bigger things to life. I've just lost my mum. Like, I'm going to focus on other things. And then that's obviously when HYROX came calling. So, and now we've just said the rest is history, and you're an ambassador. And we've, you know, talked about that at the beginning of the episode. We're going to go into that more. You know, that on the flip side, to come out of that horrendous situation with your mum, but to turn it into something positive, you know, do you remember kind of when the nail hit the head, or has it been a really gradual kind of stage in your life, or was that booking HYROX Manchester the moment that you knew life was going to get better again?
It was a blessing and a curse. My mum died. Obviously, it was the most horrendous thing that anyone could ever do. But also, as well, I would not have achieved the things that I have done in my life now in the last, how many years is it? Like 4 years?
5, yeah.
Be 4 years in July. I would not have achieved the sheer amount of stuff that I have in the space and amount of time that I have done if she was still here, because I would have been too stressed. I would not have booked a HYROX. I would not have booked a HYROX. I probably wouldn't have moved out of my hometown. I wouldn't have built the business that I have done and gone fully online. I'd still be in the gym.
Yeah.
Like,
You'd be skinny and depressed, like you said.
I'd be skinny and depressed.
Yeah.
Like, I would still be also as well holding on to the limitations that kept me stuck for so long too.
Yeah.
And that's not for her. That's not her at all. But I wouldn't have been forced by the universe or whatever life path that I'm on to get me to where I want to be. That it wouldn't have forced me to deal with them issues now at such a young age.
Yeah.
To become the person that I am now and becoming too.
Yeah. I was going to say that, like, I was going to put it into a question to kind of ask you, like, do you think the version of you sitting here today would exist if she hadn't have passed? And I know it sounded
No
deep,
way.
but I think, like you said, it was a blessing and a curse, and you've literally just nailed it on the head where it's pushed you in that direction. Also, just to kind of go back slightly, because obviously you hated PE, you didn't get PE
Yeah.
as GCSE, and then you ended up as a PT. So
Yeah, how did that happen?
It's because the teachers told you no, so you thought, fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that, I'll be my own.
Yeah.
That is literally what it was. Yeah, basically, I didn't do anything in college or uni to do with PE. I actually did fashion. So I did fashion design in college. And then in uni, I did fashion design and communication. And again, very, very funny way how the universe has funny ways of getting things back to where you're supposed to be. Because my whole thing in university was to get women to feel as strong and as good as they possibly can be in their own skin. And I felt the fashion industry was doing women such an injustice within clothing not being standardized, but also as well in certain fabrics, specifically sportswear. We didn't have like any sort of proper technology in them, whereas men did. We also, as well, this is me really going off on a tangent, but it really pissed me off at the time. Pockets. Why do we not have pockets in shorts?
Yeah.
Why do we not have pockets in shorts? We need them just as much as a man needs them.
Yeah.
Anyway, stuff like that really bugged me. But also as well, like I was very clever in the fact that I started designing my own fabrics and technical side of things too. So I was essentially creative of potentially making a fashion wear brand to make women feel better. But the fashion industry is a very funny place to make a big change. So I thought, I'm not really going to make that big of a change with fashion because not many people will listen to me as much working for someone. So I'll find my own way of making women feel better. And at the time, PT and training was my safe space because I actually moved out at uni, hated every single minute of it. I actually become really depressed and anxious to the point where I wouldn't leave my uni halls. So my granddad had to come and get me out of my uni halls and like literally pick me up, bring me out of my uni halls with all of my stuff, all in that day, brought me home, started CBT, not CBD, Lucy. Started my CBT therapy. There was like, go to the gym, move your body. And I just fell in love with moving my body again. And funnily enough, again, the universe has really funny ways of working out because we went into lockdown that year. I moved out of my uni hall, like literally 4 weeks before.
Right.
Wow. And
so
why did you hate living at uni then? What was it? Was it back to that feeling of not belonging? Because it feels like when you talk about school, college, uni, it's like when you're in like a situation that's got like lots of people, it feels like you shrink. And I feel like you just need to be in your safe space, and your safe space always reverts back to your nan and granddad, which I love. But yeah, do you think it's all linked? You kind of just didn't find your people still?
Yeah, like uni halls. Oh my Jesus Christ! Have you ever been in one? Like,
I quite like them.
No, honestly, I'm a self-proclaimed. I love luxury. Uni halls was not luxury. Can I explain what substances were being used in the kitchen on a random Wednesday? So people in my uni halls were doing lines of Ket on a Wednesday, just a random Wednesday. Not that there was anything going on, just sat there chilling doing that. Obviously, people was a lot of drinking. Obviously, with my upbringing, drinking, shouting, screaming. Not for me. I don't really like
triggering.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So all of that wasn't a very nice situation. Also, as well, my first year uni teacher, she was. Do you know what? She was actually really, really good. But she was your classic fashion teacher to the point where I remember standing, not me, someone else standing up at the front, showing the work, doing like obviously a presentation of everything. What she do? She grabs it, she rips it up in front of everyone. She's like, no. I was like, okay, I can't put a foot wrong with this teacher.
Yeah. And like I'm just like, sorry, million questions. I know Lucy's got a million questions.
Sorry.
I can feel it. We're both like, right, oh my God, there's so much to unpack. So obviously it's just interesting with you saying that you studied fashion and you went into the world of trying to make women feel better, and that was kind of your goal, and the universe was, you know, always telling you to go down the sport route. Even with fashion, like you said, you went down the fashion route with sportswear, and all you wanted to do is make women feel better. But at the time, you weren't in a good place yourself. So were you deflecting a lot, do you think?
Yeah, I think like I've always been one of them people. I will avoid, not anymore. I would say I'm actually a lot better at dealing with my feelings. I don't avoid my feelings at all, to be honest with you. I'm quite vulnerable. But definitely, I would try and help everybody else to help me feel better, to then obviously
Make you feel better.
make it feel
kind of
better. And
thing,
then that would be a bit of a cycle.
Mm.
It's probably why I'm so good at what I do, to be honest with you. No, in
You
fact,
still-
it's
but you still do-
definitely,
yeah, it's what you're doing
why.
now, though, isn't it?
yeah, it's
And would you say
100%
there's
why
a
I'm so amazing
difference,
at it.
though? I'm probably jumping the gun now, but I've got to ask it because obviously, because you're still doing that. But are you still doing a lot of work more on? I think you're always learning. It's just I've got all
Yeah.
this things just bombarded because I think even when we met in like 2023, we are different. You're a completely different athlete again, aren't you? You learn so much all the time. You put so many pressures still on yourself, like you said. You're an ambassador for HYROX. You feel like you talk about uni halls. There's a lot of people. You should see how many people are fucking HYROX now, Anna.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's so many people around you, expectations. Even though you don't have that expectation, you put that expectation on yourself. You put that pressures on yourself. Like that is a lot to learn again and shift, isn't it? Like like you say, you went from not belonging to a world level athlete. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really mad when you say it like that, to be honest, Lucy.
Yeah, and you're not even in your 30s yet. You're like
No.
mid-20s. Like,
Not even
honestly.
mid-20s.
Oh,
Not
God.
mid-20s till July. Wait till July. To be honest with you, do you know what? Like, I definitely didn't feel the initial pressure when I first got into HYROX. Then I would say, as obviously I got that injury and I was out for so many months, I felt the pressure then to like rush back the process. And then obviously mentally, because I'm rushing the process and not enjoying the process, it just felt so much harder, and that pressure was just
I can
really
remember
there.
it was on the burpees, wasn't it?
The fucking
Yeah.
burpee.
So
and
I was
Lucy was
literally
next to me.
I was next to her, and she went, "It's gone." I was like, "What's gone?"
She was like, "What are you on about?"
So
It was
dead.
How we
awful.
can
Right.
communicate through mind, I don't know. How
So for everyone that wasn't next to each other on burpees, let's go back to that moment then. So was this the Manchester HYROX that you booked? Your
This was
perspective had changed. Your mum's passing was bittersweet, as we've spoken about. You decided to move on, change how you were feeling, make those steps. You booked HYROX Manchester. It was a turning point, and then you sustained an injury. Is that right?
So my first one was 2023. 2024 is the one where I got the injury.
Right. Fab. So you did your HYROX
It's only 2024. That was January. Yeah, sorry.
like 2 years
Yeah.
ago.
It's all right.
But it's so, like we said, it's mad what you've done in such a short space of time. So you
6
did
months
your
later, my foot came on after that.
so you've done your HYROX, then you obviously loved it, and then did you just start working towards more HYROX then? And what were you doing as a job at this point?
So when my mum passed away, I decided after my HYROX, I really choose brilliant timing, because it was the most probably stressful and stupid, naive thing that I could have done. So I actually decided after my HYROX in January, I thought, you know what, it'll be really nice to do just online coaching, go straight into online coaching after that race. So like I think I raced like the January the 23rd or something like that, which was a Saturday. I said that I'm not doing PT from the 25th of January, so that was the Monday. Little did I know, the HYROX Blues, Jesus frigging Christ, they hit you like a ton of bricks that first race. You are the most depressed, most sleepy, tired, energy down, lethargic person ever. Mentally capacity, you can't think. So like the fact that I'd gone from having a business where I was seeing people quite routinely and having that, to then having none of that, was really stupid and naive. Luckily, my clients were really understanding at the time and understood that like I needed a few days off. And I was really also lucky as well, the fact that all my clients who were in person with me just moved online. Like,
Amazing.
I didn't lose anyone. Like, I went from 40 clients on the gym floor straight to 40 clients online, which is really unheard of, and I didn't realise that. So again,
Well done. Amazing.
yeah. We love achieving things.
Yeah, it's clear, and I feel like it's that sort of long stretch of your sort of childhood where you were kind of in and out of achieving things because, like you said, you didn't want to be top of your game because you didn't want to get dragged down, to literally these last few years where you're just like bam, 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 achievements left, right, and centre. And it's really inspirational because you are so young, and I think that you've just got so much more to give, and you're already like, your emotional intelligence is like so high for what the work that you've done, like you've said, because of the situations you've been in. And then you've got all your clients online, and then you went and did another HYROX, which is obviously where you sustained your injury. So was there another downhill point at this point then? If that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, I thought my whole world was ending. Like, at that point, my whole world was ending. Obviously, I hadn't dealt with my grief, which I thought I had done. And all of that grief that I hadn't have had from the July 2022, all the way up until 2024 in January, I hadn't dealt with like I thought I had done. I thought I was fine. And all of that just come slapping down in my face. And I'm not gonna lie, like, it was a really rough patch from that January all the way up until the August. Like, mentally, physically, the only thing that was functioning was my business. Like, my business was absolutely flying because obviously I was helping people, and that kind of helped, but I was also the most unhappiest I was at my point in my life as well.
And did you then seek therapy yourself rather than just try and stay on this cycle of helping people, which made you feel better? Because that was basically surface level, right? It was making you feel get that dopamine hit because they were saying thank you so much for your help and I've turned a corner, and all the while you're stuck with yourself. So what did you do to help with that grief and help heal?
Yeah, so I tried to go through the doctors, the NHS, whatever. They was just like, we'll just give you some sertraline and you'll be fine. I was like, all right, cheers. That's not really the answer to what I want or need right now. I literally just rang to get a grief counsellor's number off you, and I was just like, this just isn't, you're not giving me anything. And I was just like, right, whatever. Anyway, again, funny way how the universe works, because where we moved into in Manchester, in our place, there was a girl who I just know. There's a we have like a run club in our apartment building, which is really nice. Don't go anymore because my training's too busy. But at the time I was going through that because I'd come back from injury and just started getting running again. And there was this girl who went there, and she was a mindset coach. And I was like, oh, bit funny. So I started talking to her, got friendly with her, become her friend before I become a client. And I got working with her, and within like months, like literally, I'd say from the August to the December, my whole mindset and attitude had changed because I actually learned how to emotionally process, which everyone tells you to feel your feelings, but do we all really know how to actually feel our feelings?
Have you
Like
got
when
any
someone-
tips? Go on.
Yeah,
Throw
come
them
on.
at us. We
Come on.
love this on the podcast. There's so much we can learn. Go on.
Yes.
Yeah, like honestly, like feeling your feeling, like when you're upset and people like just feel into the feelings, like, yeah, but like I don't think you understand what you're saying. Like, do you understand how you do that? And it's one of them things. It's a skill to learn, like, and genuinely is a skill to learn, because sometimes it works and then sometimes it doesn't work. And it goes back onto the point, Lisa, how we were saying that your my knee was holding all of that trauma. Our body holds the score always. There's a brilliant book on it, by the way. I can't remember. I think it's actually called The Body Holds the Score. Really, really good book on all of this. And basically, your body does somatically hold the score on every single thing that has caused you trauma or happiness, sadness, every single emotion within your body. And you'll feel it in different parts of your body, particularly certain chakras in your body. And when you feel into them parts on your body, you'll feel a sensation. It won't be something that slaps you in your face, but it'll be just a sensation that is there, and it might feel warm, it might feel cold, it might feel big, it might feel like a lump in your throat, it might feel like a pressure point on your head, could feel like your chest has got like pressure on it. It could also feel like your heart feels like it's expanding, it feels like there's loads of air in it, it feels like there's space, it could feel like there's pressure on your shoulders. Like there's loads of different ways that you can feel into your feelings that can feel like that, and every emotion in every single person is always different. So basically she taught me how to feel that feeling without going into the trauma of the experience, and then rewrite that feeling and the story that I was telling myself around that feeling with this new feeling that I'd created within myself. Because we always don't have a choice on the external factors, but we always have a choice on how we deal with the internal. And everything shifted.
Was there anything that showed up? Sorry, we're butting into each other
It's
now.
all right.
There's
No. You go, I go.
Yeah. Was there anything that you can share that showed up for you? You know, like, this is what happened, and this is what the trauma caused, and this is how we solved it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you say a lump in your throat or pain or something like that, what you solved together.
So I'd say I'm going to use the racing situation and the scenario because whenever it's easy to explain, because obviously when I first did my first race back after that injury, as soon as I got to the burpee broad jump, I went into complete panic. My body went into complete shock. My heart was palpitating, everything. Obviously at that moment in time, I was thinking about getting through the burpees, let alone feeling the feelings and getting through it. However, after that, we did a session around that, and basically it was weird because that feeling in my knee that was there years ago from the injury, while we was in the session, came back. And this is why I said I'll go down a tangent on this before. So I will go down it. Basically, I got that same feeling in that knee, not the fact that the pain or the injury was back, but because that sensation was there associated to that event, what happened with the trauma, with the everything that went on with my knee. And I was associating that would happen again with the burpee broad jumps and my foot again. So I had to essentially rewrite that feeling of that. And one thing that helped me overcome that was actually rewriting the story around it of being, no, you're not the 16-year-old girl, you're actually the 78-year-old girl who's winning the race, and your granddad and your mum are there shirting you for you on the sidelines. Soon as I visualised that in the race of getting to the burpee broad jumps, I did full lengths. Lucy, you know how frigging difficult doing full lengths of burpee broad jumps are. I've never ever moved as fast as a burpee broad jump, and within the space of 8 weeks, not the fact that obviously my training had changed massively, but because my mentality changed, I shaved 8 minutes off my HYROX time.
Just from that section.
Just from that.
I can believe it. I can really, truly believe it, yeah.
So,
and when you tell certain people as well, they don't get it. They don't get it.
Well, I think this is what we need to unpack a bit more then. So obviously you're saying that when we next feel a certain emotion, we need to tap into our body and feel it from a physiological point of view rather than the mindset point of view. Because obviously when you're sat in an emotion, say I'm upset and I'm crying, obviously I can feel the tears. Sometimes you get a bit of a headache depending on obviously what you're crying. So they're my physical, I'm like touching my hand right now for anyone that's like, not, do you know what I mean? They're like the physical feelings I feel, but I am mainly tapped into the reason why I'm crying. You know, I never used to be a crier. Like I hated crying because it always made things feel real, and I didn't want them to be real. So I used to hold my tears in a lot, which I know from a physiological point of view is not good.
No.
Luckily, I cry all the time now. But I'm trying to differentiate what that would look like now using your technique, because are you saying then to take yourself out of your mind completely and focus on the headache, the tears running down my face? That's what I should tap into.
Yeah, so tap into the feeling, because soon as you start thinking, you overthink. So focus on rewiring the feeling in your body to a more, how Katie explained it to me, is that higher version of yourself. So completely detach yourself from your body, just feel the feelings of it, like feel the sensation, the sensation. But then think of the opposite sensation of what you would feel. Create that feeling and sensation within your body, and then deal with the story from that space rather than that other space where you're feeling quite down, sad, upset. Because whatever answers come from this higher space will be a lot more grounded, they'll be a lot more rational, and you'll feel a lot more calm, because that's your calm and safe space.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So obviously, whatever makes you upset, you can't really change why that's happened, but you can rewrite the sensation. So the next time it happens, you're going to go hopefully into that state rather than the traumatic state, regardless of why you're crying.
Yeah, you can do. Yeah.
Okay.
And again, it'll show up in different ways too. So like every level that you get to, you'll get that sensation in something that you didn't think would be related to that, but it is.
Because I think anxiety, certainly, like for me, I feel it mainly when I'm going to bed, when I lay down and it feels like I've got bricks like on my chest and like I can't breathe properly. Luckily that has calmed down since the wedding. There's a lot of anxiety and panic going on around that, but obviously I've had it for a long time with various different things, but that is a physiological feeling I feel, and I know I can attach that to anxiety straight away. So I suppose it's just trying to maybe think of these other emotions that come in.
I suppose it's a bit like tapping as well, isn't it? Because they do that, isn't it? When you like tap on it, like it's kind of like you're feeling it, and it's like tapping into it. Like I feel this, I recognise it, like I'm dealing with this kind of thing.
And I think that, like, from when I used to do therapy, that's what I learned, that technique of stop trying to move past the feelings that come into your head. Think about it, focus on it, talk to yourself about it. Why are you feeling this way? And don't ignore it, because that's what I used to do. Just used to be like, oh fuck, I'm feeling this feeling, I need that to go away. And since doing that, that has definitely helped. So maybe this like added one will be even better. Oh, lovely little therapy lesson. We love those.
Because like I say, healing isn't linear, right? No,
Helium.
Helium isn't. But like you say, like everyone who's listening, we all know, like no one's going to walk out of doing a therapy session or even tapping or whatever, and you're going to be fixed for life. You need to keep coming back to it and working on it, don't you? So, like I say, these old thoughts do come back. You explains a pun, like tapping back into it and feeling into it and going back
and learning new techniques, like obviously what Leah's just sort of told us there. I mean, it's not new for some people, I'm sure, but like I think it's like anything, when you learn something new, you're excited to try it, right? You're a bit like,
I was thinking, I'm gonna go to bed now, and now we're going.
I'm gonna go and get some anxiety so I can feel the feeling, but you know what I mean, like it's going back to it, because like I said, you've got to continue this work. And even from Saturday, there's things that I've taken from that, and I think you've just got to build yourself a toolbox where you can just reach in and get things that might be helpful in that moment, or keep doing the same things that you're used to, because if that's your safety blanket, then whatever you can do to make you feel better in that moment is the main thing. So these extra things that we're getting taught or we find out about, or just having a conversation like this, you are going to leave this and feel a bit lighter. But at the moment, we're just having a nice conversation. You've got to remember it when you're going through something traumatic or going through something that is out of your control. It's remembering to tap back into that toolbox and be like, right, how am I feeling? How am I going to get over this? What am I going to do? So
is this something you bring in as well with your clients then, when obviously it's not just setting up PT, do this WOD, do this, threshold run, go on your long run. Is this in the background as well?
Yeah, so like obviously with me, we go deep. Like your minimum commitment with me is 6 months, because the stuff I do with the girls doesn't just change their performance, it changes their whole fucking life. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not doing it to just give someone a training program and that's it. And if that's it, what you're after, I've got plenty of people who I know who are amazing at what they do who can do that. I'm not interested. I'm really not interested in that, because what I want to do is I want to completely shift your whole performance from the mental side, because if I shift it from the mental side, longevity within training will extend 10 times more than what you are currently or expect to be doing. Like, I've got so many stories I could tell you about different clients, and the fact that how they've shifted, like, it's great. Like, it's mad.
Transformation, isn't it? It's like a full transformation. You're wanting to change their, like you said, their whole life from a physical and mental point of view. And I think it's great what you said. Like, I'm not interested if you just want to get a six pack. I've got friends, colleagues, people in the industry that can take that on, and they're brilliant, and that's what they want to do. I want full commitment, because if you're in, I'm in, and that's lovely. And I bet they feel that. I bet your clients really feel like you give a shit.
Yeah, I've only got 30 clients. Well, my capacity is 30 clients. I've currently got 23 because of the deep stuff that I do with my clients. I don't have time, but also as well, from an energy perspective, I definitely feel when I first got into PT, I was like, I want to help as many people as I possibly can do. And that just, I had like 60, 70 clients at one point on my own. And I was like,
Wow.
they were still getting an amazing service and they were still getting good results, but I couldn't stretch myself to give this depth that I wanted to give.
Was that still in the HYROX environment then?
And that was in the HYROX environment, yeah.
So it was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. Because obviously
Yeah.
training programs need updating every week as well with performance. It's not just like a fat loss program where you just have someone on a program for like a lifting block for 8 to 12 weeks. With performance, if someone increases their performance, you have to then update their sessions to help it progressively peak for when they're racing.
So like, Hannah, just to like, you probably know I don't want to teach you to suck eggs, but like, say if I had a race in the February and Leah had another client who had a race in the March, it's just completely different. You know, you're
Yeah.
peaking, so you have like a really strong running phase like before, do you know what I mean? And you have a strength phase at a certain time, so it's not just giving a PDF out almost
Yeah, it's
to
like
everybody.
bespoke.
It's so bespoke,
Yeah.
to get your race ready.
Yeah, so I basically grew my business again, like going off again, a bit of a tangent, but it's relevant to what I'm about to say. Grew my business to where I had like 2 coaches working for me at the time, so really, really good coaches. Then both of them coaches decided to leave last year because they wanted to go on. One wanted to have a complete change of career, one of them wanted to grow her own business. Fair play, like that's absolutely fine with me. Both are brilliant people. Hired another coach, again, really, really good coach. And in like at the back end of last year, I raced and I was just like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. Not racing, but like I just don't want to have to worry about people. Like, are they going to get a good service? Do I have to train another person up? Do I have to then provide clients for another coach? And like, it's just like a tedious thing. And I was just like, I don't want to do that anymore. And then something in me before New Year was just like, just get rid of it. But it was like I'm very intuitive. It was just like a very strong feeling to be like, just get rid of her. It's not literally nothing about her because she's an amazing person and an amazing coach. But there was just something in me to just get rid of her. And I did that. And it was the most scariest decision ever. But I brought my client numbers down also as well, which again, shit scary when you're responsibility and you've got adults responsibilities, when you've got pay rent, you've got a car to pay for, you've got bills, like everything. I was just like, oh my Jesus Christ, what the hell am I doing? Anyway, cut a long story short, brought him down and started working even deeper with the girls, and my relationships with the girls have got so much better again because I've got the energy and time to be able to do that. But again, when I didn't have that and I had more clients on the team, that I didn't have that time to recharge myself. And I think this last few years comes back to the point of putting everybody else first. I think I decided for the first time ever, and the reason why I had that feeling to get rid of Meg back in December for January was because the universe had a funny way of giving me a feeling to be like, you need to put yourself first now. Put
Yeah.
yourself first for these goals that you want to achieve, or else you're not going to achieve them. And yeah, basically pull myself back into my own cup so then I can actually give more to other people
Yeah.
too, but in a healthy way rather than being like, oh,
A
I need to give
cycle.
you because I'm not giving myself.
Yeah, that's such a good way of explaining it, because people always say you have to have your glass full in order to be able to, give parts of it. And if your cup's empty, you're not going to be able to give anything. And it makes so
No.
much sense. And the fact that you're now actually giving a better service to your clients because your cup is more full, because you're prioritizing yourself, it just sends that message loud and clear, doesn't it? That
And your
actually-
training as
Yeah.
well.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, yeah.
We all know like how much it is. I remember when I was to people go, why don't you become a coach? I was like, I've got patience. I was like, but like people ask, don't they? Some people just presume you're a PT in the outside world, and I was like, I just don't know how you get to do it all. I mean, obviously I had another job as well, but I mean, your training takes up so much time and dealing with those pressures and achievements and things like that. And you're a HYROX ambassador as well. Is that extra work on top, or is that just how does that work?
Yeah and no. Like, being a HYROX ambassador is absolutely amazing. Like, it's brilliant because we get access to the team. We can get support through content. We can get support with races and things like that. But because obviously my whole niche within coaching and like content creation as an athlete as well, all of that is geared towards HYROX anyway. So it's not necessarily giving me extra work on a content side of things per se. If I wasn't doing this for a job, it would be adding more work to my plate. But because it's what I do, it's not adding anything to my plate, to be honest with you. And it's
having
so
that
enjoyable
connection,
too.
it is probably good for you and your brand though, isn't it? Like having that HYROX ambassador link is probably beneficial for you, which is fab. I was trying to say then, I was going to say fantastic and then fab at the same time, and it ends up being fanned. But what I was going to say is like, what are your goals now then? Obviously, I think for anyone listening that maybe is in a state of feeling that they don't belong, or they haven't really got a route, or they don't know what they're going to do, or they've gone through a situation where they're kind of in this limbo land of, we say it a lot on the episodes when we talk to incredible people like yourself and all our amazing guests. There's two paths, right? When you've gone through trauma, there's a path that you can go down that's going to lead you maybe to drink, drugs, to being in a situation where, rightly so, you're not emotionally or mentally over what's happened to you. Or there's the path that our amazing guests go down, where they recover, they work on themselves, they give back. They're in a situation that, despite all the hardship, they're able to overcome it and sit and talk to us and share their incredible story. And obviously that's the path that you're on. So if there's someone in the middle that maybe doesn't know where they're going to go, what would you say to that person who doesn't know what to do, where to go, and how would they make it down the path that's going to let them achieve and continue with life as opposed to the other one?
Honestly, people call me delusional. Like, people call me delusional on a daily basis. And do you know what? I would much rather be delusional and live in such a fantasy world where I can never, ever lose. Because, to be honest with you, you can never lose, ever. And my thing to anyone would say is, if you've got a goal, go 10 times bigger where you go. Like, if it scares you, good, because that means it's going to push you out of your comfort zone. And you might not achieve it in the time zone that you're going to be, but you're going to be a lot further on than where you thought you would be to achieve that goal anyway. So whatever goals that you do have, just go big. Literally go big, go home, go all in with it. Like, with whatever you do. And also as well, go all in with your goals. Don't be half-assed to go in with your goals as well.
Commit. So kind of
get
that goal, whatever it might be. It might even be something so small, but to that person is going to get them that one step further to recovery, or to, really reaching for what they want. And what are your next 10 times goals? How are you going big? Come on, share.
Right. Well, I feel like I've skirted around the idea of it for like years, but obviously, for me, I want to do it for myself, obviously, but for the little girl who didn't feel like she belonged or
Mm-hmm.
didn't feel like she could be big in sport or be at the top of the game in sport. Of course, like my big goal, I don't know when, don't care when, because I'm loving the process of becoming now to be an elite 15. Like,
Amazing.
as a solo, like for me, I love race. I love making my life difficult, but I love racing as a solo. Like the mental demands it takes in a solo race for me is so much more than a doubles, and I find it a lot more fun and more of a sense of achievement to do that. So yeah, the big goal is elite 15. Don't know when, so I'm not going to say when. To be honest with you, we're just going to see. You'll see me there on the lineup one day.
Yeah.
This season, the aim is sub 70 pro solo. And do you know what? Like, again, I keep saying it, but the universe does have a funny way of making every single thing work out for you in your favour. Because what another thing that we didn't mention is that when obviously I decided to bring my client numbers down and have that shift in January, the team at Adidas reached out to me to be an athlete.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it's like everything's working towards the universe for me to be like, you put your goals first. You put your goals first for the first time in your life and work towards the thing that you want to be and just go all in with it.
Yeah.
And because of that, it's allowed me to comfortably move back my clients, work on my clients, work on my training. But do you know what? The biggest thing that's helped so much is the fact that my stress levels have gone down so much, because that means I'm recovering so much better, which then is obviously helping my performance improve more because I'm not training any more than what I was. Like, I'm still training. In fact, I'm probably training less now. I've trained literally 6 times a week, an hour and a half sessions max. But obviously outside of that, that's where your body makes the adaptations. That's where it recovers. That's how you get better mentally, physically. I'm feeling a lot more fresher. I'm a lot sharper. And yeah, like,
Wow.
so much better.
It's just like tick, 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 isn't it? Like, and just hearing you say that, like, I don't know about you, Luce, like, I feel so inspired, like, just to kind of, well, I kind of think I need to go for a run, but I don't think that's going to happen. But like, just inspired in terms of like own goals and
like
like
everything's achievable.
yeah,
Get
yeah.
the confidence to do it. And I mean, one question that's sitting in my head, and I don't know why, I kind of wanted to ask you this because I know a lot of this is HYROX focused. And someone always asked, I literally got asked this question a month and a half before I had my accident.
Right.
But like basically, so I remember being asked not long before, obviously everything changed. If I lost both legs tomorrow, who would I be?
I'm
And
still
obviously-
racing HYROX. There is the adaptive category.
There is the adaptive
we are.
category, yeah.
Lucy, I was actually thinking this, and please don't take offence to this,
No.
but I was thinking you could actually make a return to HYROX in the adaptive.
Yeah, I love that. That's
I
the
was
goal on the vision
thinking
board.
this.
I love that.
God, yeah, once it's all pain-free.
For the short period, we could just
Yeah, let's
I
add
think
that to the goals.
I'd have to do a doubles though, I think. 'Cause I don't
sign
think-
me up.
We always said we were going to do one.
We said we would. We've always raced together, so we may as well actually do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this. Let's add this to the goals. Like you've just said, don't know when, don't know how, but let's add that to it.
But
And
I think it is something to think, like, sometimes bigger though, like you say with the whole mindset thing, because we can. Not saying Leah's obsessed at all. It's like that's her career.
I am.
She's coaching.
I am
but, like,
obsessed.
I mean, I was definitely in the HYROX wanker category when I was definitely there. But I can remember someone saying it to me, and I was like, it was actually at the camp in Marbella when we were at Mike's, and you know what? When they said it, I shit myself, but I also went, that's not going to happen. Do you know what I mean?
Stop.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
but
you're so ignorant to it that
You
you're
never
like,
know.
yeah,
you just don't know. And I was like, but it was more like, what would that do to your head?
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What would that do to your
But,
head?
Luce-
And your identity.
Yeah.
Because we were all put in, everybody in there was a HYROX athlete, some were people like elite 15. And it's like, shit, hang on, we've got to break this down a little bit now. Who are we? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's so much more to us, and this is what they were trying to bring out.
Yeah. I was going to
Like,
say, Luce, like, again, this is, of course, no offense causing either. You are in that situation a little bit right now, you know? You've not lost both legs, you've not lost any legs.
no.
But I think the universe thing, again, like we've been speaking about, the fact that you were asked that about a month before, it was almost like the universe wanted you to experience this because you've got
And
greater
have a
things
think
to
about
achieve.
it.
And have a
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah.
And you just said then, what would it do to you mentally? Well, you're fucking living and breathing it, right? You have done a lot of work. You've had to go through trauma physically and mentally. You know, you are on the path to a different life than you ever thought you would have. You know, we've just talked about you going back to HYROX in the adaptive category that, you know, we've just kind of talked about here and now, you know. So it's almost like you bringing this up has highlighted that the universe wanted you to experience it. And yes, we can give a massive fucking thing to the universe because you don't want to be in this situation.
No, never.
But like,
I mean, I
flipping the
felt sorry
switch.
for Leah when she had her injury.
God only knew. But like, you know what I mean? It's a perspective flip again, isn't it? It's that mindset shift. Like, you are living and breathing that question to a lesser scale. But the fact that you are now on this other path and there is like so much more that you're wanting to achieve. And, you know, we've had conversations about being an advocate for disabilities and, you know, everything like that. And we were saying the other day that, you know, if everything gets better with your leg, you will still be flying that flag. So this has happened again for that reason, which everyone hates that saying because anyone that's been through trauma hates it when that gets said because you're a bit like, well, I'd maybe rather it not have happened and I would have found a different way. But you know what I mean? Like, you're here, you're living and breathing it. I think you are absolutely on the other side. And it's just really interesting that you brought that up. Do you know what I mean?
I just think it might be important, especially for our listeners, listening to Leah's story and obviously her goals and that you can achieve whatever you are, but also listening to that to say that you haven't always got control. Because I know me and Hannah, after doing our
Never.
little therapy session the other day, we have
Yeah.
very we hate it when things are out of our control. Like, anybody does, don't they? And I
Yeah.
think when things are out of your control, it still shows you can change these goalposts a bit.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. You can still have these goals. Things might show up, but just work with it.
It's like
Work
an
with it.
obstacle, like you said earlier, like it's an obstacle course. So it's not going to be linear. It's not going to be like an 800-meter straight run. Look at me talking all sporty.
She's
so
got
like,
it.
I've got it. But like, it's like an obstacle race, really, isn't it? There's going to be hurdles. There's going to be things to go over, under. But the end goal, literally, is crossing that finish line, however that looks.
Yeah. And like Leah said, she wouldn't be where she is now, unfortunately, if that trauma hadn't happened.
Yeah. And
So I think it's
Yeah.
something for everyone to kind of just think.
take away.
I know you don't
Mm.
like, and that's another thing. Like, you will not feel like it at the time. Like, you will
Yeah.
feel like
No,
the
God,
world
no,
is
yeah.
ending, and you'll feel
Yeah.
like it is so hard. And I know it's really frustrating when someone says it gets better.
Yeah.
But trust me, like, I know I'm not done with stuff being thrown at me in life because
Yeah.
that's not how life is. I am not naive to thinking or believing that. But I know now I'm so equipped with the tools
Yeah.
and mindset and mentality to whatever that is going to be thrown at me. I know I can overcome it. Not faster, but I know I'll be able to mentally and physically have the capacity to deal with it rather than just push things to the side and ignore it.
Yeah, and that's amazing. And I think that, you know, that's the thing we were saying again this on Saturday. Don't want to be living in fear of things
No.
happening, of a phone call happening, of something going wrong in your life, of hearing some bad news. Like, you shouldn't live in fear. You just need to live your life with how you're feeling right now and live in the present and all that kind of stuff that you know have to remind yourself about. And as and when that trauma comes, that news comes, something happens in your life, like you said, it's not going to be an easy run. Deal with it then, rather than trying to plan how
Yeah.
it might happen and then open that toolbox, like you said. And like, I liked as well earlier, just when you mentioned, we've said about your mum, and obviously without your mum passing, you wouldn't be here right now. But right at the start of the episode, you said that there's little pieces of her in all the people and all the women that you know. And I think that's going to be a really nice way to round this off, that like, even though she's not physically here, you
Mhm.
think about her every day. You spot her in women that's in your life. You know, you've talked about today. You know, I'm visualizing her and as this fun, silly, amazing mum. And again, she's never going to leave you. And that's a lovely way of thinking of it as well, because she's on this journey with you. She's seeing what you're achieving and how you've done it. And that must make you really proud as well. So it's just an amazing story.
Yeah, for sure. Like, she's here every single step of the day. Like, literally had a dream about her last night. Like, always
Really?
having dreams about her. Yeah, like always.
Amazing.
She's
Oh,
always
well,
there.
I love that. And I think that we've come to it perfectly, because whilst we have spoken about what your goals are and what you're going to achieve in the rest of your amazing life, because you're literally 24 years old, who is Leah becoming now?
Oh my God, what a bloody good question. Do you know what? I don't know. And I think that is the exciting part, because again, I was such a control freak of trying to control how I was, how I looked, how I behaved, how I was perceived from other people. Quite frankly, I don't give a fuck. I feel like I'm learning how to be unapologetically me now moving forward, and not feel bad for asking for the things, or guilty, or like rude for asking for things that I want out of life, relationships, my goals, or that I'm essentially not gonna make myself small to make other people feel comfortable. Like, and I think that is the exciting part, because I don't know who this person is. I don't know who this person is moving forward. And there's something exciting in the unknown for me now, which again, didn't think I'd say, but there is some excitement in that person that I'm becoming.
Oh, I love that. And literally, like you said, you're just going to become someone that you don't even know exists yet. And how exciting is that?
Yeah.
And you're finally
Which
putting
is
yourself
weird.
first as well.
Yeah,
Finally putting
literally.
yourself first. So, thank you so much.
Yeah, brilliant. So again, for our listeners, if this resonated with you, like we just said, you're allowed to become someone completely new. You're allowed to outgrow who you once were, and obviously see what you're truly capable of. So on that, it's been a great episode. And
Yeah.
I think we need to get Leah back on again at one point, 'cause I think there's so much we wanted to uncover, from like nutrition, about like women, what they suffer
Oh,
with training.
give it me
Like, there's
all.
so much we
Yeah.
can talk about. So definitely, if you're up for it, Leah, if you want to jump back on with us.
Yeah, we could
Get
do
me
like an
back on.
educational episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a little
kind of-
bonus. We always call them
Yeah.
bonus, they're never short, by
No,
the
no,
way.
no. Don't be disillusioned that bonus ep means 30 minutes. It will probably be longer than this episode.
Yeah.
But I think we like lent into it a little bit with that toolbox and what you kindly shared
Yeah,
with us.
because I think we got really into it, didn't we?
We did. So yeah, definitely. I think like maybe an educational episode of Leah would be really, really good. And honestly, if anything else in our back catalogue, we have amazing guests that we mentioned earlier that have got so many different incredible stories. Definitely go back and check it all out, because if you've loved what you've heard from Leah, my God, we've got an array of people who are super grateful that come on and share. And Leah, you are one of them. And thank you so much for taking time out to chat to us and being so vulnerable and sharing your true self. And honestly, you've been fully inspiring. It's going to make me think tonight for sure.
Good. I'm glad that you enjoyed it, guys. I hope everyone else who's listening enjoys it as well. Thank you for having me on.
No, pleasure. And on that note, I shall say a goodbye from myself.
It's a goodbye from me.
And a goodbye from our guest, Leah.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.